What's good everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be building my Gameweek 4-5-5 lineups, having a walkthrough, talk through, having a look at who's playing, what's going on, and just putting together the best lineups possible in order to hopefully win the best rewards this game week. Now if you are new around here, then please drop a like on the video, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you are interested in signing up to Sorare itself, then utilise the link in the description down below, and when purchasing 5 cards off of the auction house, you will receive a free limited as well as I. So we're just helping each other out at the end of the day. So before we get into the actual game week lineups, as you can see, I actually won a reward, and that wasn't from the previous game weeks, because obviously you would have seen my rewards from those previous game weeks. If you haven't already, go back and watch the last video. But we actually won Forsen from the I don't know. Here we go. We actually won him from my brain's gone dead here, from Rivals. So played 3 Rivals games, won 3 Rivals games, opened my box. He's a tier 5 limited, but for a free to play part of the game, which is something I'll create a video on shortly, can't really complain. Now he's not worth anything. Like when we look, his last sale was 27 pence is his last sale, and his SO5 scores, he hasn't been playing, but he does play for Salzburg, who are obviously top of the league at the moment. And when we look back on his previous history, he has played and he has scored pretty well, and he is only 21 years old with under 23 utility until 2027. So he's going to be a card that I just hold on to, and we'll see what happens with him. He might start some games, he may not. Who knows? We will see what happens. Now getting into the actual game week itself. So having a look at where we're going to be starting. So as always, I will prioritise the teams, the best leagues basically, and like most managers do, and then the lower the league, the less I prioritise. So we'll start off with the Premier League in-season limiteds. Obviously, we have got the Brighton stack. So when looking at Brighton, so I like to use utilising Sorare data for the lineup building is very, very useful. We can see what people are guessing, what people think is going to be the lineup. So pretty accurate from what I've been seeing around. But also Play Sharper is great for this, and as you can see here, you have like percentages on cards, and normally a fan from the actual club itself puts the lineups together. So you can see, going by their handle just here, they build the lineup, and then you can have a look. So obviously Brighton have got Roma midweek in the Europa League, which is a very, very big game for themselves. So they are likely going to be resting some players. You can see, obviously, he said the manager says that Ferguson, Veltman and Lamptey would hopefully be fit for the game. So that is a potential. And obviously there's a risk of rotation due to the Roma game coming up. He thinks Webster's going to start, and they're going to play 3 at the back because they have a lack of wingers. So this is the formation he reckons they are going to play. Obviously, Estupiñán is going to be out because his form is still not too good. And obviously he did play on the weekend. No, he played last night against Wolves in the FA Cup, and we can see the lineup here against Wolves. They lost 1-0, obviously not the result they were looking for, but very useful to have. And when we look at this, and when I then choose my lineups, the lineups that I'm putting in today are not going to be finalised. So I will build the lineups, but then always double check around midday tomorrow once the managers have come out. Within all the leagues, normally around 11 AM, they come out and they have a little meeting, and they kind of discuss current injuries, what's going on with the team, so on and so forth. And from there, you'll find that you get a more updated, more accurate representation of what is actually going on with the team. So that is something I'd always recommend. But lineup building does take a while, so I always do it on a Thursday, and then make any tweaks if need be on the Friday just before the game week closes, and go from there. So his prediction is that he thinks he's going to go back to the 2-pattern game for the keeper. So when we actually look at the keepers themselves, for example, looking at Bart and his SO5 scores, it was going, the way it was working was basically 2 games off, 2 games on, including the cup games, 2 games off, 2 games on, so on and so forth, is how they were running the Brighton keepers when alternating. And obviously still played yesterday against Wolves. Prediction is he's going to start again, even though Sorare data think that Bart's going to start. Prediction is he's going to start. Obviously, Fulham aren't as good a team. They have Roma coming up. Bart is, in my opinion, the better keeper. It makes sense to play Jason for this game, then rest Bart ready for the Roma game midweek. So I'm going to play Jason, is going to be my start. Then we're going to go Paul Van Heck. Obviously got a AA rating just there. Looks like he should be doing well. Obviously Pascal Gross in the midfield, being the absolute machine that he is. Up front, when looking, obviously Danny Welbeck has a quite high score, and Adingra has potential as well. Likelihood is Adingra is going to play on the wing. Welbeck only has a score of 60 because we don't know whether Ferguson's going to be back or not. So I'm actually going to go with Adingra here, and then I'm going to put Lamptey in as well. And yes, Lamptey does have that slight muscle injury, which is why he is only at 60%. But like it says here, they're hoping for him to be back in the team and back to full fitness. And if he isn't, then I'll find out tomorrow morning and I'll make those adjustments to the team. So Pascal Gross is going to be captain. That is going to be the lineup. A lot of people probably don't agree with that, but like I said, if need be, I will make some changes. So that's going to be my Premier League in season, and then I'm going to build the other Premier League in season, which will obviously go. Bart will go in, then we'll put Estupinan in, Buonanotte, Danny Welbeck, and I will most likely put in Webster as well for that team, and we will put Danny Welbeck as the captain. Obviously the backup team, all these players could still play. That's the thing with having a stack and a lineup, is all these players could play and I could win 2 rewards. Obviously the keeper is less likely, but you never know what's going to happen with the team itself. Moving on from there, going into the Champion Europe, which is going to be here. So looking at Champion Europe, we have got the Athletic Club against Barcelona. So it is going to be a very, very tough fixture. And actually, when we look at the games tonight, Athletic Club are playing Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey semi-final. So they are 1-0 up at the moment. We can see what the predicted lineup is going to be within this game itself. And then obviously they are then playing Barcelona on the weekend, which is going to be a very, very challenging fixture, which is why I'm going to put them all together in a stack, because if they do really well, then great. And if they do badly, like they did last weekend, I'm not annoyed because it doesn't really matter too much. So when looking at the prediction, obviously Unai Simon is going to start. He's the starting keeper, so he will go in. Then it is most likely going to be DeMarcos that I play, and Paredes. Yeri has a slight potential injury at the moment, so we don't quite know whether he's going to start or not. So I will put in DeMarcos first in that midfield role. We are actually going to play Sanchez. It does say he has an injury, but when we're looking at the team here, 65% chance he's playing in at cam. I'd rather play in a cam than a defensive midfielder within the lineup itself, so he can go in there. Inaki Williams picks himself, and then we will probably go with actually one of potentially either defence or forward. So it is either we go with Paredes, but will they keep a clean sheet against Barcelona? Hard to tell. Barcelona haven't been that great. Or do we play one of the attackers? I'm going to play a defender. I'm going to go with the defensive stack. Is going to be the plan. So we have got him in just down here. I'm going to captain Inaki Williams, and that is going to be Champion Europe Limited. Now, only a score of 58, so it doesn't look the best. But like I said, if need be, I will make the adjustments within the lineups themselves. Then the Champion America team. So I've got the Portland Timbers stack. And the MLS has actually just been released. The 2024 cards on the MLS have been released, and you can see that people are going mental for these players when we're actually looking at the team itself. Like, it is actually crazy how much money people are spending on the new cards when the actual new in-season doesn't come out until obviously the back end of March. So when we look at it, Maxim should be back. He's got his green card, waiting to hear an update from training. But obviously if we look at the comments, for some reason the comments aren't coming up, but he should be back, so he will be starting. In defence, we are going to play Kamal Miller, and then we are going to go with Santiago Moreno, Asprilla up front, and then I'm going to grab Eric Williamson because he had an incredible game actually against, well, he had an incredible game on the weekend. One of those teams where DC United did play very well as well. Benteke got a hat-trick. But you notice, especially in the MLS, that the home advantage is massive due to the amount of travelling that the teams do. So Portland Timbers being at home, having a 4-1 victory, the manager still wasn't that happy with the result. Shows that hopefully they should bring in another good performance moving forwards. So that is going to be Champion America. I will then be going into the All-Star. So All-Star is obviously a bit of a mixed bag. We have got Bodart, Pirard, Krau, Luka Maric as potential. Even they're saying Andreas Luth is going to start for Bochum. He is playing RB Leipzig, so I wouldn't be so confident. But I need to see what's going on within that game actually itself. The Bundesliga, Bochum against Leipzig. See what's going on. Luth was obviously the starting keeper at FC Kaiserslautern. Krau came in, Luth left in January. So looking at the team, nothing showing up at the moment. And I don't know why the comments aren't showing up either, but we're waiting for the predictions. So we'll see what happens there. But most likely, I will be playing, looking at the teams, Pirard 16th against 14th, or you've got Standard Liège playing against Ghent. It is a tough one. I am saving Lucas Krau for the my cap. We'll actually make my cap 240 now. That would make the most sense because I know the team I'm going to put in. I will be putting the Kaiserslautern stack in. So let's just double check and make sure that everyone is starting and playing. They didn't play very well on the weekend with a 4-0 defeat, but then they do obviously have. They are playing the team below them, so hopefully they do play well. You can see there's quite a lot of only 60%. That is due to the fact that there's probably going to be quite a lot of squad rotation because of how badly they played. But looking at the team, Krau will be starting goal as always. I will then be putting in Tomiak because he is captain and he is a very, very good player. Marlon Ritter normally will always start, and then Aki will be up front. And then I am going to put in, most likely, they need goals, so I'm going to put probably Tachi in, I would say, for the lineup. The two forwards, Redondo could go in, but he's got a lower L15 average, so I might save him for like a 220 team or something along those lines. But that will be the team. Boris Tomic will be going in. Let's save that lineup just there. Then having a look back to the All-Star Limited, which is just here. So, have a look at the All-Star Limited. Looking at the keepers that I have available. Both teams are at home. Bodart, I would say, is the better keeper. However, it has been linked that he will be leaving Standard Liège. Obviously, Luka Maric predicted to start again, but most likely won't. Pirard should start again. 30% win on Standard Liège, 39% win on Kortrijk, 27% odds of a clean sheet, 31% odds of a clean sheet. I'm going to put Bodart in just because if he does concede, he does still score highly. Then Wesley Hoyt will be going in. He is playing against Millwall, AA rating, and actually just does shoot very, very good scores. Like, recently he has dropped massively, but the last 5 games haven't been that good, but the previous weeks have been pretty good. And overall, when we look at him, he does shoot a lot of good green scores, and he's always Watford's starting centre-back. So he can go in the team just there. In that midfield spot, looking at the players I have available, obviously some of them are in stacks, some of them are not in stacks. I could stack Alzante in for the Standard Liège. I try to avoid some players. Obviously, Hayden's playing Leicester, so that's a tough game. Yimi Chara is one of those players where you don't know whether he's going to start or not. His SO5 score, he does score nicely, but you never know if he starts or not, so you never really want to risk it too much. So I think I will put Alzante in. Then I will be putting in, for forwards, Tobias Emmanuel Dennis did score on the weekend for Watford. He is most likely going to start again. There is potential there, but he's obviously got a pick score of a D rating, which isn't going to be the best. But he would be good to partner up with Hoyt, but he does have an L15 of 37, so we'll probably avoid that. We'll just go with Mratby, I think we'll put in up top. And then we'll continue the stack. We will continue the Standard Liège stack, I think, putting in Konstantinos Lafouille. The thing is, Paulo Diaz is good. He is a good player. He does normally start. He does get good scores. So does Lafouille. Let's have a look what's going on with the actual lineups themselves. This is why I say it's always a long process picking the team, picking the lineups, seeing what you actually are looking to achieve. Especially when you have, like, I've got 100 players. I don't even have that big gallery. Some of the guys that have rares, super rares, so on and so forth, have massive galleries, and it takes them hours to put in their things, everything together. So 8% on Lafouille. Bodok's going to start. Alzante is at 70%, but he will most likely start, which is good to see. And if we're looking, Cortez hasn't released it. And then when we go to, where's the Argentinian? Might be further up. Here we go. Have we got? Right, River Plate are away from home in this game. Paulo Diaz is at a 90%. It is a tough choice. Both A rating. Second playing fifth, but that home advantage, and also with the stack, it makes the most sense to play Lafouille. I'm gonna put Wesley Hoyt as the captain in this, and we will save that lineup. Then looking at, we will go with, do we want to go 220 or Challenger Europe? We'll go Challenger Europe next. We'll put Pirard in goal, and we will stack him with João Silva. India is still injured, which is a shame, and I'm waiting for him to come back. He is one of these cards. 21 years old, under 23 utility to 2026. He's dropped down massively in price, which is such a shame. When we look at him at the start of the season, started the season very well. Then a few sub appearances due to injury, came back, played again, injury, a couple sub appearances, and then he's been injured ever since, which is such a shame because he is actually a very, very good player to have, which is a shame. But we will stack João Silva in here. We will put in Sorensen. Potentially, this is not going to be the strongest team. Obviously, Kamal Sawa is not looking too good. This is actually not a very good lineup at all. Let me bin this lineup. Let's make the 220. Let's go 220 first. So I always opt to go with a keeper normally. So looking at the keepers, looking at chance of clean sheet, obviously Lucas Radecki let me down. He is also quite a high scorer. Looking at who we've got in, who we have potential to play. I could always make a sub in the actual game themselves. Tough. It is tough. Let me pick the other players first, see what we've got left for the keeper. It's normally how I like to apply it. So obviously we want to keep the clean sheet. We don't want too high an L15 score. Looking at players I've got, looking at players that are in the team, to be honest, Eric Miller could play well in the MLS. Only an L15 of 31. There is potential to put him in. Samprisi's been very consistent at the moment. Like I said, João Silva can score well. Already they need to keep a clean sheet in that game, so there is always potential there. We'll go with Eric Müller in there. And then looking in that centre mid role, we will put in Zimmer should play. Chara, we'll stack Chara in there as well. Always good to see. Like I said, Redondo should play well. L15 at 35. Let's put in Hradecki now and see what we have got left with the budget. So we've got 50 points left with the budget on the 220 budget. So 50 points left. Mazzitelli's at home. I may play him actually because he's got that A rating in All-Star Limited. Actually changing this thing when you start building your other lineups, you're always looking and thinking about other lineups that you've got set out. So I would say, looking at the players we have, the current position we are in, it is tough. It is very tough. These guys are all injured still. Yeah, all injured or not playing. DMPs. So I'm going to go with it is a tough decision. If we say, I'm going to say, is Jokden, what did Jokden get on the weekend? I'm pretty sure he's still playing over in Japan. Did played 90 minutes. He does shoot pretty well for someone with quite a low L15. 54 is still quite tough, and you never know whether he's going to play or not. I might just put. We're going to put Samprisi in. Playing 17th, they are away from home, but Samprisi's been pretty good at centre back, pretty good AA rating. When we look at the last couple of games, 20, 17, 18, 23. Yes, they have been conceding. They've got one clean sheet there, but overall, pretty average scores, which is kind of what you want when trying to hit that reward in 220. And I'm hopeful that Redondo will get a few goals. So we'll go there. We're going to go back to our All-Star Limited team, and we're going to take out Arzante, and we're going to put Mazzitelli in. Is going to be the plan, because they are both A-rated, I'm pretty sure. But it would make sense, I think, when we look at it, that Mazzitelli can go in. Does shoot pretty good scores as well. These are the type of players that I quite like, where they don't peak that often, but when they do peak, they do get pretty good scores. Frozone have lost their last 4 games, but they are obviously playing at home. They're playing against Lecce, 43% chance of a victory. So I am going to put them in the team, and then it means that our Challenger Europe team would be a better team with Pirard, João Silva, then Alzante can go in, which is nice and strong. So as we were looking, obviously there's a 40% chance of him starting. He hasn't been playing the best, but he is the only attacker I have other than Federa, and Federa is still injured. He's got a cruciate ligament injury at the moment, which is not what we want. But yeah, Sawa at 40%, Degenepo at 35, and Balikwisha at 25. So hopefully he will start and play, and then we will put in. We'll just put in Sorensen. Obviously, he's not Pro League, but I'm pretty sure he got an assist on the weekend. Yeah, he got an assist. The game week before, he shot a pretty good AA. They are playing against Copenhagen, which is going to be a very tough game, 3rd against 2nd, but they are at home. So it's one of those lineups where you just kind of throw it in. You throw it together, and you go, right, let's see what we can manage. So they're the main lineups. Obviously, when we're looking at the main lineups itself, like I said, Premier League is going to be the priority. Premier League in season team 1. If need be, I'll make some adjustments to that team. Champ American and Champ Europe. These 3 teams are the main 3 teams that we aim to win rewards within. 240 is obviously just a threshold grind. 220, you never know, and then All-Star and Challenger Europe are kind of the teams you just throw together with the players I've got left and hope that some of these players just pick up crazy good scores and we do end up winning some rewards. Now, what else have we got? I'm pretty sure I can make a under 23 team if need be. Let's have a look. If Marriage does start, potentially not. Have we got a cap 270 team we could put together? So if Marriage does start and play, then obviously great. He did on the weekend. You never know. Luth, like I said, I'll wait to see what's actually going on with him. 30 predictions that he will start. So potentially I will actually put him in. Yeah, because we'll put him in if 30 people think he's going to start. You never know. Then we'll chuck in Paulo Diaz. These are the, like I said, the random teams that you kind of put together that you never really know what is going to happen. Do we think Chara's 21? We'll put Chara in. Up front, we will put in Goretzka, and then let's stack them. Let's stack them together. You never know what they're going to do. They might play well against Barcelona. We'll chuck them together. We'll save that lineup. It's another throwaway lineup, but it's some extra XP, you know. And we'll do the same with Second Division Europe. Another one where, cool, the keeper's not going to start. Okay. The defence potentially will start. The midfield potentially will start. Then it should hopefully start, and we'll put in Hayden as well. Yeah, they're against Leicester, but you never know. You never know. It's one of those games where you never know. And I just deleted the lineup. Let's put that lineup back together. But these are the lineups where, cool, we're just grinding some XP out. We will see what happens and just hope for the best. So they are going to be my lineups. Currently hopeful for, like I said, get some money in the Premier League in-season team. Champion Europe, obviously against Barcelona, is going to be very, very tricky. But you never know if they do play well and they do beat them and keep that clean sheet with the defensive stack in line, then hopefully get a grinder tier 4, tier 3. Likewise, Champion America, and then we will see what these other teams can do. This is the fun with not having the best players, not having the best stacks, not having the best lineups, is you do just kind of hit and hope. And some weeks you shoot some crazy good scores, and other weeks they're just very, very average. But they are going to be my lineups. If I do make any adjustments or any changes to the lineups, I will obviously update you guys. Like I said, keep up to date utilising Play Sharper. Very useful and very good to utilise. And like I say, with the comments, for some reason they're not showing up at the moment for myself. But when you can see the comments, you can see who is commenting, and they all have a Twitter account linked, so you can follow them on Twitter, and then you can see what is actually going on and get more regular updates in regards to the team's training, the team news, any injuries, so on and so forth, which is very, very useful. But that is going to be it for today. Thank you very much if you made it all the way through the video. Apologies that it is a slightly longer video, but as you guys know, if you do play the game itself, then building the lineups does take a while. Thank you for watching. Please drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and if you are interested in signing up to Sorare itself, then utilise the link in the description down below. And I will see you guys next time.